Loaded show ahead here on this edition of Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you as we are talking about the possibility of signing Patrick Queen. Could he be on his way to Seattle? Also, what about a trade involving Jamal Adams? What's the likelihood that the Seahawks could move on from him, and who could potentially be interested? We got a new rumor we'll talk about here in just a moment. Before we do, folks, let's go back in time a little bit. There's a question that a lot of people have been talking about, and I want to bring this to the attention of the 12s out there and see what you guys have to think. Was Matt Hasselbeck, our former quarterback, an elite quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks? I'm sure we're going to get some fiery opinions on this one, so I want to hear from you guys. Was Matt Hasselbeck elite? HY for hell yes, HN for hell no. Let me know how you really feel about Matty in the comments section. We'll get started with today's show. ESPN's Phil Yates is suggesting that the Seahawks will sign Patrick Queen, the linebacker from the Baltimore Ravens, in NFL free agency. Queen, of course, played under Mike Macdonald with the Baltimore Ravens just within the last couple of seasons. He's about to hit free agency. Macdonald, of course, in Seattle now. Could he follow Macdonald to Seattle? Here's more from Phil Yates. I suspect you'll hear buzz of this nature involving any Ravens defensive free agent, as new Seahawks coach Mike Macdonald architected a brilliant defense in Baltimore. But the Queen match is particularly pertinent, as Macdonald was Queen's position coach in Baltimore early in his career. Seattle has two key starters who are going to be free agents, Bobby Wagner and Jordyn Brooks. And this draft class is not deep on inside linebacker. Now, personally speaking, I would prefer to bring back Bobby Wagner and Jordyn Brooks than spend the money it would take to sign Patrick Queen. I don't hate the idea of signing Patrick Queen. Let me make that clear. But you could, for less money, sign Wagner and Brooks, two players at that position, then you could just spend the money on Patrick Queen. To me, that one says all I need to know right there. We'll show you the numbers here in just a second. But let's ask you guys, should the Seahawks sign Patrick Queen? S for sign, P for pass. Weigh in our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose two or more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less. Whether you are talking strikeouts, hits in baseball. Maybe you want to do some NBA and want to predict rebounds or total points scored. All sorts of different categories to choose from. Lots of different leagues as well, from the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, golf, NASCAR, and more. I got my Rodriguez special today, as we got Grayson Rodriguez to have more than 180.5 strikeouts. While Julio Rodriguez, I have to have more than 168.5 strikeouts. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Play along with us. PrizePicks.com/CLNS to play today. So Patrick Queen's contract is projected to be a whole lot of money. 4 years, $71 million, okay? But you are getting him at the very prime of his career. So that does add up. That does make sense that why he's valued to be that much. Meanwhile, Bobby Wagner is projected, coming off a Pro Bowl season, might I add you, where he still played at a tremendously high level. He has not slowed down. He's projected to be about a 1-year, $5 million deal. And Jordyn Brooks is projected to be about a 2-year, $22 million deal. So just thinking about this here, okay, I could pay all that money for Patrick Queen, or I could spend less and keep the two starting linebackers I have. My other concern is when it comes to Patrick Queen, who is Patrick Queen without Roquan Smith? I mean, you think about it. He did not start playing at a high level until Roquan Smith arrived in Baltimore, till he had somebody else taking off the pressure, right? And to take it even a step further, I know some of you are going to say, well, it wasn't until he got in Mike Macdonald's offense, or defense rather, that he started to flourish in Baltimore. And that is true, but he didn't really start to come into his own until the second half of the 2022 season when Roquan Smith showed up. He got off to a slow start to the 2022 campaign under Mike Macdonald's scheme. You look at the numbers from PFF. This is what I'm talking about here, okay? Patrick Queen, PFF grade this year, great, 73.1. Last year, 70.0. But then you go back to 2021, 43.5, and 2020, 29.7. Those were the years he didn't have Roquan Smith to bail him out here. So I think that's worth noting. I don't know. That's a lot of money to commit to Patrick Queen without even knowing how good he is without Roquan Smith by his side. You look at these statistics from Patrick Queen, and he's coming off the best season of his career, no question about it. 133 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. But we'll see if the Seahawks ultimately go that route or not. Who's a player the Seahawks should sign, whether it's Patrick Queen or somebody else out there? Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Jamal Adams, could he be on his way to D.C., joining the Washington Commanders? Bleacher Report is suggesting that the Seahawks could trade Jamal Adams to the nation's capital. Here's more from Christopher Knox. Convincing a team to take on Adams' $16.5 million base salary won't be easy given his recent injury history, and the Seahawks couldn't expect a hefty return. It might also require sending him to a team that is familiar with him, like the Commanders, who now employ Ken Norton Jr., who was Seattle's defensive coordinator during Adams' last Pro Bowl campaign in 2020. However, even a high day 3 draft pick would be preferable to releasing Adams outright, or simply holding out hope that he can be a dependable contributor in 2024. Remember the Will Ferrell movie Semi-Pro? It's one of my favorite sports movies of all time. Jackie Moon, Will Ferrell's character, traded a washing machine for Ed Monix, and it turned out to be a great move for the Flint Tropics, all right? If I'm the Seattle Seahawks, and somebody wants to take Jamal Adams and give me something for it, anything, I'm relieved. We'll do it. We could get a washing machine as far as I'm concerned, and I will do this trade just to get rid of Jamal Adams. A draft pick, whatever it may be, oh my gosh. Instead of just releasing him for nothing, if the Washington Commanders want to give me a day 3 pick for Jamal Adams, sign me up. You can have him tomorrow as far as I'm concerned. Jamal Adams currently on a 4-year, $72 million contract. He's played in just 10 games the last 2 seasons. The former Pro Bowler, 3-time Pro Bowler, we mentioned as recently as 2020 was the last time that he made the Pro Bowl. But the big topic of discussion with Jamal Adams, not only just the lack of availability, but what he's done on the football field. He has been a liability. You look at the numbers from PFF this past year, an overall grade near 55, run defense grade of 53, pass rushing, not bad, 85.5, but he's been horrible in coverage, which is the number one job of a safety, is to do well in coverage. And if he can't cover anybody, why would he be out there? The Seahawks were better when they played without Jamal Adams this past season. You look at the statistics, and, I mean, those numbers weren't any better either. 48 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 2 pass breakups this past year. Jamal Adams left a lot to be desired. And, I mean, you look at Julian Love, he'll be back. You're going to need to go get another safety potentially. But Jamal Adams ain't that guy. Yeah, I think that Adams gets caught. I'd be surprised if they're able to pull off a trade like this. But if somebody is willing to do this, to give you draft capital and make this trade, you take it and you say thank you. I mean, that's what it comes down to here. What will the Seahawks do with Jamal Adams? Will they cut him? Will they trade him? Type C for cut, type T for trade. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think.